Eternity is a brand new A24 movie that dropped in cinemas across the UK at the start of December. I've been to see it finally, so let's talk about it. Hey, welcome back to the video, a brand new movie review. Today I'm talking all about the brand new A24 movie in association with Apple called Eternity. It's in cinemas across the UK right now. I've finally been to see it, or I say that, I saw it a little while ago, but I'm finally doing a movie review on it. Before I start talking about it, as always though, a friendly reminder, these are just my thoughts, so don't let this dictate whether or not you decide to go and see it. You might see it if we talk differently to me. That's okay, because movies aren't made to cater for everyone. Without further ado, let's start talking about this film, and I was really excited to see this film. I saw it advertised in trailers in the cinema a little while ago. Really excited to see this, but if you've watched any other of my movie reviews, and especially A24 movie reviews, you'll know that I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with A24. I'm a bit on the fence with all of their stuff, and that's because, and I'll say it again, I say it in most A24 movie reviews, that's because I feel like they have a target demographic for their films. They have a target audience, and typically I don't sit in their niche. I don't sit in that audience that they make their films for. Memorably, there's only 2 A24 movies that I can remember really enjoying for various reasons. Because of that, I always feel like I sit on the fence with what A24 movies, produce, and I never expect much from it. And if I enjoy it, I'm like, well, that's a bonus, and with any film, obviously. But when I go to a Disney film, I know that I'm going to really like it because I love Disney and I just love everything they produce. Like, I am Disney's target audience for 99% of what they make. A24, I'm not always the target audience. Very rarely am I the target audience. So there's always a slim chance that I'm not going to enjoy what's being put on the big screen. And this one, I thought, no, I think I'm going to really enjoy this. And it really surprised me in such a good way. I thought this was a really good film. And I thought, what a really unique film as well. Having a week to determine and decide where to spend your afterlife, where to spend your eternity. I thought it was a really unique, interesting film that hasn't been done before, dare I say. I don't know, I don't think it has, but I thought it was really interesting, really unique, really one of a kind, and I thought it was a really interesting plot, and I think they executed it pretty well. The only thing for me with this film, and it's the main kind of fault I have with it, is the pacing just felt so off, and I feel like they spent so long focusing on certain aspects of the story, which to me they didn't need to focus on, and the bits they did or should have focused more so on, they just kind of glossed over, and I thought they did everything sort of the wrong way around, really. We're introduced to these characters in the real world, and then we follow them into their afterlife, into the waiting area before they, where they can decide on their eternity. And I just feel like everything felt a bit slow, like it felt really slow getting going, and we spent so long kind of tossing and turning with where to go and what to do, and I just sort of felt like, come on, we can move on now. And then it sort of felt like, right, we've made a decision, and then we spent like 5 minutes in the end result, because I don't want to spoil these films, but the 5 minutes in, the ending, and then that's it, the end credits came up, and I thought, I really feel like we should have spent longer at the end and just sort of glossed over what actually happened, just because I feel like they spent too much time focusing on areas of the story which I don't think needed as much time focused on, and this film definitely didn't need to be as long as it did. It was just short of a 2-hour runtime. It did not need to be that. This was definitely a 90-minute film. It should have been a 90-minute film. So yeah, that for me was the only major fault, but this is a really good film. I thought the casting was really good, really. I always do enjoy the type of people that A24 cast in their movies. And, I think a big stand-up thing for this film was their humour. Typically, especially obviously comedy films, but in most films, the humour is very niche. Like, you have to fit in the target audience, the target niche for their humour, and if you don't match the film's humour style, then you just won't find anything funny. But this film, I think, really played on the fact that they just utilised so many different types of humour, so that everyone had something they could laugh at and something that they could find funny, whereas most people, most films wouldn't make everyone laugh. They only make a certain type of people laugh, whereas this film caters for everyone in the respect of, here's a few jokes for people that have this type of sense of humour, and here's some jokes for people with this type of sense of humour. Do you know what I mean? So they really catered for everyone in that sort of respect, which I think was really good, and the humour was really funny. You know, I did laugh quite a lot in this film. And ultimately, this film really, again, has a hidden meaning, and I really appreciate movies that do that, that have a meaning and a story behind the main plot. And the meaning behind this film is just to enjoy life and, you know, just be appreciative of the times that we do get, and the time that we get to be with family and do things with family, and, you know, look back at everything that we've done, and growth and journey and all of this type of stuff. I'm sort of just shoving loads of jigsaw pieces that aren't put together there, but ultimately the message of this film is just to enjoy life. You know, it kind of represents within the film the fact that we sort of mask up all of the bad moments and just look at all the good. And I think that's so true. We often just put a blanket over bad moments and try to forget about them and focus on the good moments, which is 100% what this story is saying. It's saying focus on the good moments. But actually, in another breath, I think it also does suggest to, you know, maybe not necessarily just blanket the bad moments, but to learn and grow from them as well, from those moments. I just think it's a really well thought out film, ultimately. It had a really nice hidden message. And I really enjoyed this much more than I thought I would. And I knew I kind of was going to enjoy this film. So, very good. It's in cinemas across the UK right now. It's probably nearing the end of its cinematic run. So do go and check it out in cinemas if you can and want to. And as always, what's your 8 out of 10? Will it be joining my collection? I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Will it be joining my collection? Probably when it comes out later on in the year, if it does, because it's in association with Apple, and Apple don't always release their movies on DVD, so who knows. If it does, I will. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. In the description below, as always, is the movie plot, a link to the movie trailer, as well as a link to my movie review playlist. It features every single movie review that I've ever done. Only a few more left of 2025 as well, including Eleanor the Great. I'm off to see that tomorrow. You'll hear my thoughts on that very soon, and I shall see you in one of those movie reviews in a bit.